Hello and welcome to Meanwhile in the Falklands. I'm Hannah Newton.
I'm Karen Abbott.
And I'm Thomas Stockton.
Tom is back! Woo! How was your trip away, Tom?
I mean, that's the most enthusiastic you've sounded about me being back. I've been back for 10 days and it took a podcast to get her to say it with an enthusiastic voice.
What did you get up to on your trip?
So went to Canada for 2 weeks, which was amazing. Saw Ontario, part of Canada I'd never been to before. Went snowboarding in Quebec for a couple of days as well. Great, been about 2.5 years since I had a snowboard under my feet. So that was good fun. Then went back to the UK and I did some work experience with the BBC and ITV.
That sounds exciting. What did you
Very
get up to
exciting.
Betraying FITV is what I was getting up to, really. I got up to a variety of things, to be honest. The BBC, it was a very different approach, and if anyone who took me under their wing during work experience listens to this, I'm sorry if I offend you. But the BBC had a very different approach to ITV with all of it. I mean, I was given like half an hour slots all week, as in this is what you're doing every half an hour.
Oh wow.
Didn't always stick to it. There was chance to sort of like go over and do other stuff, but I managed to bounce around all the different departments, which was great. And having spent the last couple of years working for a smaller television station, as you guys well know, there's the infrastructure here at FITV is like, it's a little bit make do. We do what we can with what's available to us.
Yeah, I was going to say, you must have been able to notice, it must have been interesting noticing the difference between working for a big organisation to coming to a small TV station in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Not that the Falklands is the middle of nowhere, but...
But no, I completely agree with you. You're right. You've hit it right on the head there, because we'd see the studio, and obviously we know what our studio is like, and we know that we know we want our studio to be bigger, and it's just a case of we're having to deal with the building we're in. So first of all, going to step into BBC South studio, which was quite surreal actually. You know, you see it on TV, and I don't know, I've worked in the industry for a couple of years, much like you guys, but actually stepping into something like that, I felt like I was a kid again, like, oh, it's so cool. But the biggest thing that astonished me was the gallery. It's the guys who dictate what actually happens in the studio. So, Meanwhile in the Falklands listeners don't know if you'll know, but our gallery consists of one of us behind the teleprompter with a laptop running all of it, sort of waving when someone's doing something wrong if some hair is out of place. But it was so different.
Because they must have hair and makeup departments and things like that, and wardrobe.
I didn't actually see any of that, you know. But in terms of like the gallery itself, it's a full-blown team.
Yeah,
You've
it's got all the bells and whistles.
Absolutely, and because it's all live, you've got the whole countdown, and the guy who's running the gallery, he's constantly talking to the presenter in his ear, and I would not be able to read an autocue while someone talks in my ear.
Yeah, well, it must be quite distracting, but that's like, there was, sorry, I'm on a tangent, and this is also, I know we've been doing recommendations in our podcast, and I know I'm coming in early with a recommendation here, but there's a really good episode of Louis Theroux, who is my favourite journalist, he goes and does some of the American, the shopping channels that they do. He goes and has a go at presenting something, and they've got someone in their ear telling them how much time they've got left. They've got to sell this product, infomercials, that's what it's called. Sell this product, demonstrate the product, all in the space of like 5 minutes when someone's saying, right, you need to say this. Oh, we've had X buyers, you need to push this product more. And he crumbles. He's not used to it, because he's right, you're under pressure, aren't you?
Exactly.
And how are you supposed to focus on what you're doing when you've got 101 other people in your ear telling you what to do?
So tough.
It must be really difficult.
Yeah.
Any home improvements for the old studio?
Not so much for the studio. So I was looking at it and going, oh my God, like this could be done differently. And then after a couple of days, I took a step back and went, you know what, there's no point me even thinking about this, because these are both, ITV and BBC are both multi-million-pound companies with the latest technology, both in the gallery and in the studio. And I swear, like, if you take our office and our studio and combine that floor space, that's a quarter of their office space before you even get to the edit suites that they have, and the gallery and the studio and all the other things, and the cafeteria. I want a cafeteria at Standing Service.
Our office is probably the size of the cafeteria. It's not even smaller than the cafeteria.
Smaller.
But no, you're back, but Paul has gone.
Paul has
gone to the Cayman.
Paul has flown away.
And they've just arrived in the Cayman, am I right in saying that, I think?
Steve put a lovely picture on Facebook of him on the beach, and these with beautiful clear water, and saying that he had free Wi-Fi on the beach as well.
What?
So I was very jealous.
I mean, the beach didn't look any better than Surf Bay, can I just say? On a nice sunny day, Surf Bay is still one of the most stunning beaches.
Yeah.
But it didn't look windy there.
I haven't looked at it yet. He's all very social media, Steve. I'm very impressed. Maybe he should be our FITV social media manager. He'd be good, I think.
Yeah.
But on that note, we've also had a very long weekend. We haven't had a holiday in the Cayman Islands, but we've all had a very long weekend this weekend, haven't we? What have we been up to?
It was fun landing back in the Falklands Thursday night, having sort of a day to catch up with you guys on Friday, and then it's just been all systems go.
Yeah, well, it wasn't a rest for us, was it? We had quite a busy weekend.
We were working all weekend pretty much, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah, I got my first opportunity because obviously Kyle got here a couple of weeks ago, so we only met last Friday. So we got a nice opportunity to have a coffee together on Saturday morning.
Sit down, have a chat. Yep. And then film some lovely Easter bunnies.
Go on, tell us about the Easter bunny, Kyle.
What can I say about the Easter bunny?
How does the Falklands one compare to the English one?
It's I don't know really. I've not seen that many Easter bunnies in the UK. I don't really go to that many Easter things. I usually tend to sit at home and eat all the chocolate instead of actually going out anywhere. But it was madness because there was children everywhere. I was walking around with the camera trying to film everything. The children running in between the camera and what I was trying to film. So I was moving around constantly, and then you have the Easter bunny running around with chocolate eggs everywhere, and then bouncing around in the bouncy castle.
There was a bouncy castle?
There was a bouncy castle as well.
Was it lots of hyperactive children?
It was a lot of
That's
hyperactive children. A lot of hyperactive children.
So what was it? Because Crozier Place and FIC, it's a homeware shop, isn't it? With a cafe on.
Yeah.
So I was kind of trying to piece together why they were doing Easter Bunny children, but they had a discount on as well.
They did have a discount
not to promote, but we found this out because we went and did some shopping, bought some things, and there was 20% off everything.
Oh.
Didn't realise that, so we should have all gone there and bought
big old Easter sale, was it?
Yeah, Easter sale as well.
I didn't know Easter sale was a thing. Is that a thing in the UK?
But they kept it very quiet, I think. But that was another thing.
Yeah, I think that got a lot of people through the door.
Yeah.
As well as
well, on Sunday as well, we also had the Queen's birthday. Shares it with Easter Sunday.
Yeah.
So
she's got 2 birthdays, which we learnt.
Why does she have 2 birthdays? I ended up editing the piece and I can't remember why she has 2 birthdays.
I think it's the 21st is her actual birthday, and then she has another birthday where it's like the big ceremony where the whole country can come. In June, yeah. Where they have all the events happen and the big parade down through London and everything.
Is that just because her birthday is at a time of year where the weather's not normally great?
I think that's the case. So I think she's moved her birthday so she can have a nicer day of it.
Yeah.
Well, as she gets older, she gets colder. Exactly. And how old is she now?
93.
93.
She's
doing
looks
well.
good for her age.
We'd read this, and I was so sure that she was 93. And I was down at the parade filming away, and there was these 2 gentlemen talking behind me about how old the Queen was, and they were asking how many times the guns were going to be fired. And I was like, maybe 93 times, for every one of her years. And he turned around and went, I don't think she's 93, I think she's 92. And then told me her exact birthday, and I was like, well, if that makes 92 years, then you're right. But no, I was right, she was 93.
Because it's 21 guns, 21 times they shoot the gun. But they also shoot the gun in London and things like this. I was finding out in Hyde Park, and there's a special gun in Hyde Park, not actual out in the open in front of everyone, but...
Can you get as close to it as you can get to the guns here?
Well,
Probably
not. I wouldn't have thought so.
Because even though I knew it was coming, my whole body was shaking with every shot. Fair play to the guys at the FIDF who run the guns. I mean, they're close to them.
But also, speaking of Easter, I want to say a big thanks to my mum, dad and Anne for sending me all the chocolate in the world.
Oh my God,
I had so many parcels, it was ridiculous.
Our house is full of Easter stuff now, everywhere.
I know, but we celebrate Easter quite a lot at home. I don't know what do you guys normally do when you're back in the UK?
Just chocolate, that's about it. I think, chocolate, nothing else.
Normally a couple of chocolate. I mean, we haven't done an Easter egg hunt in years, but then again, I've been away. But we'd always meet up with my nan and have a nice Sunday lunch or something like that.
Yeah, because that's what I think my mum was doing with my nan and things like that. Because normally we always do a big roast, things like that.
But I don't think anyone was roasting in the UK. Well, they were literally roasting.
Well, it was
in the
hot,
UK.
yeah.
Well, they had a lovely Easter weekend.
Yeah, I came back from the UK just in time for the weather to improve there, and I came home to snow. Came back to the Falklands and it was snowing. So I wish I'd been in the UK for 28 degrees.
But we also, I know it was nice having a long weekend, wasn't it, having Monday off. But it meant this week was busy. Busy, wasn't it? Because we'd taken a Monday off. You were off one day in the week as well, so it was a little bit hectic. What have you been up to this week?
Kyle, do you want to lead us in with what you've done this week?
What have I done this week?
We've done quite.
Nothing.
It's been such a blur.
I mean, we've done quite a few projects together this week. I feel
we
like
have actually. We've been out and about quite a lot. So we did the Easter event.
Mm-hmm.
And that was quite nice. And then we were out again doing the Gurkha Memorial, which we found out about that a little bit last minute. So we had to run out to do that. And then what else did we do?
What was the Gurkha Memorial?
It was they've made this this little wall called a mani wall. It's like a mani wall, which is cool. It's like a traditional Buddhist type of wall that they use in Nepal. So they made that, and apparently there's a custom that you have to walk clockwise around it.
We never found out
no,
why.
we've not found out why.
Yeah,
why
I haven't googled that.
That's the case.
Well, we'll post on our Facebook page. If anyone knows why, please
let us know.
Please let us know.
That, or we'll research it and head to our Facebook page for the answer.
Yeah. One of the two. But yeah, no, because did they have like a plaque and stuff?
Yes, there was a plaque and stuff on it talking about what the Gurkhas did here, just commemorating like the sacrifices, and then there was two. I don't know if there was memorials, but there were
plaques.
Two more plaques for two Gurkha soldiers that died.
One not too far from
the memorial, and then another one was a little bit further away.
Goose Green, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think it was in Goose Green. Yeah.
I think it got unveiled the next day or something like that. Yeah.
And you also did a little bit on World Penguin Day, didn't you, Carl?
I did do a little bit on World Penguin Day.
Go on, tell us, what is World Penguin Day?
What is World Penguin Day?
Well, no, tell us about your experience of the penguins here so far.
Well, I've not seen any penguins, and I'm not that bothered about it because I'm just like, I'll see penguins eventually. But then everyone at home is just badgering me constantly. Give me some penguin pictures, steal a penguin for me, ship a penguin back to the UK, and I'm like, I can't. It's not the season for them. I've seen one, and it didn't look like it wanted to be here. It didn't look like it wanted to see me because it was hiding in a little burrow, so it was pretty useless.
But linking to wildlife, it was also something quite interesting, wasn't it, with albatross this week? Tom, you kind of had the lead on that.
Yeah, so as the listeners probably know, because after our island trips, and we've been talking about wildlife for the last few months, haven't we? So the fledglings, the young albatross chicks, would have taken to the sky over the last few weeks. But when they're still in a quite juvenile state, landing and taking off can be particularly difficult for them.
Especially in the winds, like today, for example. Jeez.
Absolutely.
I don't get how they'd be able to even fly in this kind of weather, but...
So this time of year, well, exactly that. How do they fly? Because this time of year, you see them dropping all over the Falklands. You get albatross in people's back gardens. You get them on the road. Well, on the road to Goose Green on Tuesday, there was a young albatross just in the middle of the road, and it evidently crashed pretty hard because it had hurt itself. And there was a video of a local chap sort of helping it out and getting it to the side of the road, and ended up taking it all the way back to Goose Green, the settlement, for Falklands Conservation, and the vets come out and see it.
That must have been a bit of a challenge for him to catch that albatross. But speaking of challenges, here we go.
Nice little segue.
Here we go. In the next couple of weeks is the 3 Peaks Challenge, which is quite a big challenge. Now, this is where I'm going to get it wrong. 3 mountains, Mount Longdon, Moody Brook, up to Tumbledown, and the 2 Sisters. I think is the route. I could be wrong.
I think that's what it is.
I'm not quite sure.
Isn't that 4 peaks?
Or maybe, well, Moody Brook doesn't count as a peak.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so I think it's 3 peaks. But you can do the challenge either with weights on your back or not. Weights if you're hardcore. Last year, Katie, our ex-colleague that Carl's replaced, she did the challenge with a GoPro on her head, and it's a very good vloggy style thing. But this year we were thinking of doing something a bit different with it, weren't we? So we were hoping could possibly get, and maybe if anyone's listening who's thinking they're doing the 3 Peaks Challenge and would like to get in touch with us, we want to follow some people in their training in the run-up to it. Not that any of us has volunteered to actually do it ourselves.
Nope. I've just spent 6 weeks on holiday. My squishy belly is not up for running up and down mountains.
But I'm wondering whether the weather's going to be good enough for it. The way it is at the moment.
It's been so windy lately. I don't know if it'll be safe enough.
Yeah, last year was quite funny actually. We were talking, as Hannah mentioned, about trying to follow someone, for their training, and we spoke to a police officer who did it last year, and he's up for us following him through his training this year. But last year he claims, so I wasn't there, I didn't witness any of it, but he claims he was in first position with the 25 kilogram weight on his back. And he got to a point and the clouds and the mist just descended on them, and he couldn't really see where he was going, and he got pointed in one direction, and apparently he ran down there for about a mile before a motorbike, because the Motorbike Association were doing told him he was going the wrong way and told him he had to turn around. So he had to run all the way back up the hill another mile and then turn and head back down. So he claims that the fact that he didn't win last year, it got absolutely stolen from him.
What a farce.
So he was actually sat in the office the other day telling us all about the route and how he got caught in some marshes last year and he knows how to get around it now. He's might be overthinking it a little bit.
It'd be good though following him. You've been volunteered yourself. Well, we all kind of volunteered you to go and do some of the running with him, and with the weights on and the camera and all the gear. So that should be quite interesting challenge.
So essentially, I will follow Gethin for a little bit, and it will just be a case of me literally following him because I'll be trying to keep up. Just
so get your little push bike or something. Yeah. You can. Wait, I know what you could do. We've got a nice little Porsche in the Stanley Services garage. Plug. I think it's about 250 quid. There we go. You could drive around in that with a little camera on.
Who'd have thought you could get a Porsche for 250 quid?
What a bargain.
Keep your eyes on Falklands in Focus in the next few weeks to see what the Porsche actually is.
But speaking of sport as well, we'll talk about what's coming up in the next week. But speaking of sports, you were saying it's you're doing something on rugby. There's a rugby club that they're hoping to form in the Falklands. Yeah,
so that's actually funny. Another story that Kyle and I did together. There you go. Couldn't think of it. It was Thursday as well. Thursday was the day of every day because it was Penguin Day on Thursday as well, wasn't it? But on Thursday it marks the 40th anniversary since the first ever meet of the Falklands Rugby Club, which might not sound like a huge deal, but I've been here 2.5 years and I haven't heard of a Falklands Rugby Club. So IJS teacher, PE teacher, is trying to set up the club again, get things going. He's got about 20 players that said they want to play. Oh, it's an eclectic range of body shape and ages, I'll tell you that.
So will that be on the football pitch? Or cause we don't have proper facilities for a rugby club.
No, I think he was saying
like that. And I don't know if they've even got the H-shaped. What do you call those H-shaped goals?
I have no idea.
Goalposts. H's? I don't know. I'm going to get absolutely slaughtered with it. H's, I'm going to Google it.
We'll call them goalposts. That's the easiest thing. But I think he was saying that they might do some training on the football pitch, but then they'll probably go play it up at the MPA base because they've got an actual rugby pitch of the actual goalposts already set up.
Well, speaking of facilities though, we spoke to Stacey, didn't we? Well, I spoke to Stacey this week about the new sports facility. And
what's
it sounds
the update
like,
on that?
Well, they've got £3 million in the pot, and one of the things that from the public meeting they kind of put public consultation and said, what do people want? And the top 3 facilities people wanted were something for hockey, athletics, and what was the final one? Football. Which I would have thought football. You can now I'm going to get kicked for this. You can do that anywhere that's green and flat. You can do football, but I know obviously the football pitch down here is interesting to say the least. You've played in it before, haven't you, Tom? A couple of times, fair few times. Yeah. Interesting, but another thing people wanted was heating and ventilation.
Well, inside
the centre, which is quite expensive. So that's hence why originally their budget was I think 2.3 or £2.5 million, and it's had to go up to 3. But it's quite difficult because sports is quite important here because there's not a lot of things apart from sports to do in your spare time, and it's very sociable. And obviously there's so many different sports clubs here, all fighting for facilities to be put in the centre. So it'll be interesting to see what actually comes of it. I know it's early days yet, and it's not happening straight away, and it won't happen within the next year or so. But it'll be interesting to see. And I think it's important as well for the Island Games, training up for the Island Games and for Commonwealth Games and stuff. I was going to say us Falkland Islanders. I'm not a Falkland Islander, apparently, because I don't have status, but Falkland Islanders take it very seriously, don't they? Yeah. To say the least. So, and take their training very seriously. Yeah. But anyway,
we'll be building onto that in the next couple of weeks as well as we come towards the Island Games. Yes. We'll start doing our annual, what is over the last 3 years, annual talk with the badminton club about their training, because there's been something on every year with them. So we'll be chatting away with Doug Clark and things like that again in the next few weeks, I'm sure.
For our one listener that loves sports, who's
Yeah.
like, need more sports. Here's some more sports. Coming up, what have we got coming up next week? Let's have a look.
Outside of work, there's a Falkland Islands government furniture auction on Saturday morning.
Exciting.
It's furniture under the hammer, bargain hunters, whatever you want to call
We could do
it.
an antiques roadshow.
Oh my God, we
that
should.
would be exciting. give two teams a budget and be like, right, see
What can you buy?
Can you make a whole living room out of it?
To be fair, I'm going down, but may need to provide arms to be able to carry things out.
Well, studio, new sofas.
Yep.
If I see anything there,
Yeah,
I'll nab it up and ask Paula and Steve for the money later. If you're listening, Paula, I might have an invoice towards you guys.
Also, it's very important Sunday night again. For me, I don't understand the importance of this, but what's going on Sunday night?
Dun, 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 dun.
Copyright.
It's fine. It's about 10% of it.
Yeah.
So I think
It's
I get away with
artistic
it.
license, it's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, Game of Thrones, isn't it, on
Yep.
Sunday?
Yes, indeed.
Very excited.
I'm hosting this time. Well, I say I'm hosting. I'm house sitting for Paula and Steve. So
They're hosting.
their home is hosting. I am cooking the dinner.
And we've got an interesting week next week as well. We've got an exciting interview. We're going up to MPA to interview the commander of the British Forces.
Yes, that should be very exciting.
Which should be
Very
good.
interesting.
Very nice bloke, Nick Sawyer, isn't he?
Yeah, you've got Sally Ponce on her.
Sally Ponce on her medal that she got for South Georgia Conservation.
Should be good.
The
Tom,
infamous Ponces.
you've got
Are they infamous?
Oh yeah. That's a big thing, Carl. Before you interview Sally, you must, and anyone listening, Google the last name Ponce. You will be blown away by what that family has done.
You've got a sporty number on with the hockey.
Yes,
They're doing something
indeed.
exciting.
Don't
tell us.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'll keep that for the podcast next week once
Yeah.
I found out all about this upcoming event.
Or watch our show next week as well. I was going to say, and you'll find out where the hockey team are going. Are they going somewhere, or maybe they're not?
Maybe they're not.
Who knows?
Their name's on a poster.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
But that's it for this week's podcast. Meanwhile, in the Falklands, we're going to go now. If you'd like to
Finally take our weekend.
Yes, I know. We're going to finally take our weekend. We were working very hard last night. Well, we won't say that, but we filmed the news last night.
Yeah, we did it.
Sorry, Paula.
We did it late, and it got edited today. But we worked all weekend last weekend, and this weekend's a little bit more relaxed. I'm back on the airwaves with Falklands Radio on Saturday night. So make sure you tune into that. Anywhere in the world, just go online.
Exactly.
8 till 10.
Hey, you've stolen the sting for the FITV website. But if you would like to watch our programme, here we go. You can catch it on KTV on channel 800. What's the HD channel?
855.
855, that's it.
There
You
we
can
go.
watch it on our website online. You can pay for one show, or you can pay for a year's worth of shows for £60. FITV.co.fk. If you'd like to listen to our podcast on our iTunes, which you're probably already listening to either via our iTunes, Falkland Islands Television, or on our SoundCloud.
Yes,
I prefer our SoundCloud personally.
I don't know, there's just something
You can
about
see the pictures.
SoundCloud. You can see the pictures.
You can see the pictures. That's it. Anyway, we will catch you next week. See you later.
See you later.
Bye.